The oldest baby boomers are about to turn 80, and many of them are choosing to stay in homes that they have owned for decades. In fact, 68% of boomers are living in homes that are over 30 years old, often with the original infrastructure and no plans for renovation. But for their millennial heirs, inheriting these homes could mean that they're taking on mortgages, property taxes, and maintenance costs they may not be prepared for, or, let's be honest, even want. Welcome to Jacksonville's Retirement Coach. I am here with our host, Adam Wolf, who is ready to unpack the emotional and financial aspects of the great wealth transfer and what it means when you want to pass on a home. Adam Wolf is a certified financial planner and president of Wolf Retirement Navigation. You can learn more at wolfretirement.com. Again, that's wolfretirement.com, and he is right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Adam, how are you today?
Doing outstanding. Thank you.
I am always so happy to sit and chat with you. Before we dive into this topic, I just wanted to hear a little bit more about Tony's Turkey Trot, which is coming up in just a couple of days.
Yeah, so Thanksgiving morning, we host it. Actually, we used to host it. Now we're a sponsor, and we love being up there for it. And this is... Gosh, it's been 10 years now, and it's a huge race. We started when there was about 100 runners, and now we're up to over 4,000 runners.
Wow. And
not everybody's running. Some people are walking and trotting and wobbling and doing all that stuff. So
I would wobble.
I'm the walk. If I could hike it, I would hike it. But I usually walk it or jog it with my daughter. So, but it's near and dear to our hearts here at Wolf Retirement. It's to raise awareness and money for traumatic brain injuries for adults and children. And so my sister-in-law years ago had passed away from a traumatic brain injury that she suffered 13 years prior to that, so it was near and dear to our heart when Anne-Marie Tucker, who started it, brought it to our attention. And now since UF Health has taken it over for multiple years now, and they do an outstanding job to raise awareness and money and and then the funds go to great causes to help people who need the money to get care for traumatic brain injuries. So yeah, everything stays local, but we're gonna be out there at Atlantic Beach. It's a 5K race, and last year we had over 3,500 total, but more than that ran.
Amazing.
This year we're expecting over 4,000. So. If you haven't got your tickets already, they're still for sale. It was still a couple days prior. You should still be able to be involved and come out and join us on a great Thanksgiving morning.
And is there a website that they can go to if maybe they can't attend, but they could donate or support or cheer people on?
Yeah, the easiest way is just Google Tony's Turkey Trot Jacksonville. It'll pop up. Also, First Place Sports. That's where you can go to get some information. They run the race, or they take care of all the timing and the scoring and all that. So. Or reach out to our office if you have some additional questions prior to the race.
Look, and if you go run the race, then you can eat that second slice of pie completely guilt-free because you ran before you went. That's the motivation behind it.
But that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's how I do.
Well, we're diving in today to something I've coined as legacy luggage, because this idea that parents want to pass on to their homes, and this concept hit me because I was thinking about my own family, and my grandmother was so excited to pass on her home to, her children, but everybody had their own home, and what seemed this wonderful, easy, legacy transfer really isn't. It sort of was a headache. And so I wanted to talk to you about it and see, what are you seeing as the most common misconceptions that maybe baby boomers have about passing down real estate when it comes to passing on things to their children?
Yeah, the issue with passing on real estate, especially your home, 9 times out of 10, the kids or whoever inherits, the beneficiaries, the heirs, they're going to sell it. And that's typically what happens. Everybody already has their home already, and maybe out of state. So logistically, just keeping a house. That one time out of 10, somebody might move into it and or rent it out. But it's extremely important to know what you want to have happen. And you might not care because you're not here, but to have it written down, and not just written down the right way, but also with the kids. To be informed about it prior to, or the heirs, the beneficiaries, to be notified ahead of time of what your intentions are, so things go smooth and what your intentions are actually upheld.
We hear all the time, and I don't know if it's just that particular generation, but I hear this thing about people wanting to put their kid's name on their house so that they don't lose the house to the state. There seems to be this misconception that if their child's name isn't on the mortgage or on the title or on the deed, that the house is mysteriously going to be sucked up by the state and not given to the family. Talk to me about where you think that idea comes from and whether or not you think it's a good idea to be putting your kid's name on your house.
Yeah, well, so I am not an attorney in any state, but I can give you some examples of what I've seen,
Sure.
From my own family, but also for others that I work with, clients that I work with and friends. And, a couple different things they can do. Let's use kids for example, just to make it easy. You can put your adult child on as a joint owner on your property. So if you pass, they inherit it automatically legally. It can also be done as what's called a ladybird deed, and that is a legal deed that transfers the property to your kid at the time of your passing. And those two elements avoid legally probate, which can take time and money to go through the courts to get your title your title passed properly to your kid. And so those two is what I've seen a lot. Also, I've seen people who have a trust and they put the house in the name of the trust, or have a house title deeded in the name of the trust, and that can pass automatically as well. So it's all about most people, or if they've gone through it with their own parents and their own family, to make it as easy as possible when you're no longer here for your heirs, for the people who inherit it. Because especially if you have somebody out of state who has to come in and legally deal with everything and logistically deal with everything, and having to clean the house out and all these different things. Anything you can do and to make it easy and efficient for your kids and for your heirs and beneficiaries, whether maybe it's a sister or a brother. They're there to do that, but to make it efficient and easy, that's the key. That's the goal.
For a lot of boomers that have been in a house for 30 plus years, that home can be one of their greatest legacy assets. You imagine maybe they bought the home for $100,000 30 years ago, and now that same home, because of real estate values, could be worth, several times more than that. How do you help them analyze whether or not that asset is more valuable as is, or if they should consider selling and downsizing and taking advantage of, the wealth that they've built in that asset and utilizing it as part of their retirement?
Yeah, I mean, it all boils down to what your goals and your plan is. And if your plan calls for you, enjoying the fruits of your labor over time more, it may make sense to downsize or right size. And then I have a lot of folks, well, if I downsize and right size, where the heck am I going to go?
Right.
Because everything else, if I were to buy, is going to be just as expensive as if I were to sell. So.
Sure.
And a lot of times I see it is where we go in and or the clients go in and they do a lot of renovations to update the homes and to get them to where they want and or have it the way they've imagined. And so everybody's different, and taking money out of the house, there's ways to do that through mortgages and through reverse mortgages and things. We don't do banking here at Wolf Retirement, but if clients are looking to get equity out of their homes efficiently. We have folks that they can talk to get through those and get those questions answered. So, it all depends on the client, it all depends on the person. And I just find that anything you can do, you got to enjoy your lifestyle. That's number one.
Sure.
And then your assets and your income are there to support that lifestyle. If you can get that done right, because you want to, you're in a house every day and you're at home every day, it's just got to make it right for you. And that a lot of clients have that. We call it the leftover plan. Whatever is left over goes to the kids or goes to the family, and most of the time it's the house.
Right.
So that's the leftover plan. I didn't coin that; somebody else did. But yeah, a lot of clients use that.
I like that. How do you, speaking of, the leftover plan and talking with what gets left over to the kids, how do you help sort of facilitate those conversations between an older generation and the younger generation that's looking to inherit? Do you encourage that, both ends of the spectrum are at the table talking, or do you just go, look, this is mom and dad's decision and then we'll inform the kids later? Have you had conversations where the child is like, I don't want the house? And what do we do then? Just wondering how you help facilitate those conversations that I imagine aren't always smooth.
Yeah, I encourage clients and friends to have the conversations with their kids that they're comfortable with first. And if I need to be involved as a facilitator to help review and go through what their intentions are, that's what we do. We also, I tell my clients, hey, if anything happens to you, there needs to be something in your file saying, call Wolf Retirement, call Adam, call us, so your kids and family members know where the next steps. Versus starting to call 800 numbers and all that. And I've also seen it where, we have our events, our fun events, and our client appreciation events throughout the year, where we encourage clients to invite their children and also their family members, so we can get introduced to them in a non-business, arena where it could be a little bit more comfortable at that point, then to say, what's the next step? I want to review with Adam, with the team, with my son or daughter, everything that I have going on, so they know and that they are comfortable with. Then I have some other clients that say, I'm not telling them one thing. They're going to read about it when I'm no longer here, and everybody's different. So,
Sure.
There's not a, one size fits all, but, I encourage, information and sharing. So that's what I would do, going forward.
I know every time that we have a conversation about retirement and retirement planning, we always have to take into consideration taxes. That seems to be a huge factor when we're talking about financial planning in general. Are there things that parents that are considering passing down a home need to think about in terms of tax implications when it comes to that part of their financial planning?
Sure. I mean, when it comes to real estate, because not all assets are considered equal upon passing, real estate is one where whether it's your own personal residence, we'll start with that. If it's the personal residence, let's say you sell, let's talk about two different times. Let's say you sell it before you die. That is where you would get up to $250,000 exempt for a single and $500,000 for a married filing joint exclusion under current law from capital gains. So if say your house is now $700,000, you bought it for $200,000 and you're married, that $500,000 gain, if you sold the house, would be exempt from any kind of capital gains taxes, because of the government having a $500,000 exemption. So that's one thing. So then let's use the example. When you pass under current law, that type of asset gets what's called a step up in cost basis. So on the date of death, for the most part, there's some exclusions there, but on the date of death, whatever the value is of that home is now the new cost to the kids or to whoever inherits it. So if they were to sell it, and most of the time, if somebody dies like in March and they sell it in May or June, the value is going to be pretty much the same. So there's not going to be a loss or a gain. It should be a wash, but it still needs to be reported to the IRS on their tax form. So we have to be cognizant of that too. So when it comes to real estate, they're in like non-IRA brokerage accounts or stocks that you own, a vacation home, a second property. That's all a step up in cost basis that basically alleviates a lot of the tax, if not all the tax liability for those assets.
I think it's such a great reminder to that there are so many facets to retirement, that it's not just a simple cut and dry A and B and then I'm done. There really are things to think about while you're still alive, and planning that happens then, and then also planning that you need to take into consideration for when you're no longer here, but you want to set your heirs up for the best case scenario. So if somebody's listening to this and they're like, you know what, I need to sit down with you and talk about my individual story and make a plan that works for me, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, they give us a call, 904-232-8760. We can also go out to wolfretirement.com. So you can check us out there, and then give us a buzz to set up an appointment.
And if they come to Tony's turkey trot, do you throw out some free advice while you're running, or is they got to catch you first?
Yeah, most of them are going to catch me, so I'll be there all day. No, I'm kidding. No, we'd love to see you out at the turkey trot. That'd be great. And 9 out of 10 years we've been doing this, we've had awesome weather. One year it was raining sideways, but that was a one-off, and. And so, yeah, like you said, being able to cut the calories a little bit or burn some calories before eating, Thanksgiving. Your Thanksgiving meal is a wonderful thing, and all the money and everything goes to a great cause.
Fantastic cause, and what better way to give thanks than to give to someone else who can benefit from your generosity of time and finances. So we thank you, Adam, for your time and your generosity with sharing your insight on these topics. And if you're listening and you're ready to build, not just plan, but you're looking for a lifelong partnership, head on over to wolfretirement.com. Again, that's wolfretirement.com, and you can schedule that complimentary consultation with Adam. And of course, be sure to subscribe wherever it is that you're listening so that you never miss an episode. Adam, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We'll talk soon.
Investment advisory services offered through Coyle Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Wolf Retirement Navigation, LLC, and Coyle Capital, LLC are not affiliated. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No investment strategy can guarantee a profit or protect against loss in periods of declining values. Opinions expressed are subject to change without notice and are not intended as investment advice or to predict future performance. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Consult your financial professional before making any investment decision. This information is designed to provide general information on the subjects covered. It is not, however, intended to provide specific legal or tax advice and cannot be used to avoid tax penalties or to promote, market, or recommend any tax plan or arrangement. Please note that Wolf Retirement Navigation, LLC, and its affiliates do not give legal or tax advice. You are encouraged to consult your tax advisor or attorney. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurer. Any references to protection or benefits or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products or services. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and not offered by Coyle Capital, LLC. Florida Insurance License Number W016816.